Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on your location. Welcome to Conclave this morning. Um, a beautiful day in September, and they'll be looking at corporate structure. Corporate structure. Today we're looking at just the first one. By next week, God's grace, we'll look at the remaining part of corporate structure. Now, as I promised us last week's class during the class last during the conclave last, I said we'll be looking at deep things. Yeah, as the name portray, conclave, where deep things are discussed, and uh, we go into it. You will get to know what happens in the corporate world, how systems are kept, how systems are built, how companies are being managed that give them the life they're having today, and how you can also manage your own. But I want to learn something about this corporate structure. Please, there is no structure that is permanent. Yes, there is no permanent structure. Take it anytime, any day. There is no permanent structure anywhere. There is no permanent structure. There is no permanent structure. The same way there is no permanent system. Yes, there is no permanent structure. There is no permanent system. However, all structures, all systems evolve through policies. Yes, they evolve through policies vis-a-vis every other factor which we'll get to know. But please have this at the canvas of your mind. There is no permanent structure in any organization. So if your organization have been there for the past 50 years and they maintain a particular structure, go and check it very well. They may have grown bigger than what they are. They may have grown bigger than what they are if they have looked into the structure properly and look at the evolving point that they missed, and all and all and all. So as we go, we get to know deeper about this. But just say, let me use this as an introduction to the section this morning. Okay, so having established that and having explained this, we'll be looking at the 5 different areas: the functional structure, the divisional structure, the matrix structure, the network structure, then team-based structure. Yes, these are the basic structures that run global entities as we speak. No matter how big that company is, as much as you can see it, no matter how big they are, these are the 5 fundamental structures that run those organizations, and we'll take our time to look at it. Now, today we'll be focusing on the first two. We'll do the introduction, then focus on the first two, the functional structure and the divisional structure. By God's grace, next week we'll do the metric structure, the network structure, and the team-based structure. So you have a better understanding. And at any point in time, you can also in your company require the 5 of them to be functional at the same time. So, but if you don't have this knowledge, you will just be growing in one pattern. Yes, just be growing in one pattern. Just number one. That's what most companies do. The number one. They follow that number one and work on number one for the rest of their life. They don't. They think that that's where it ends. No, it's not where it ends. There are so much around this. Number one, number two, number three, number four, number five, number six, and like I said earlier, but probably in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, even 3 months, there may be need for additional, a need for change. So have it at the back of your mind. It's not permanent. It's not permanent. Structures can change at any point in time. All right. A company's structure, a company structure, that's the way in which it is organized, can have a major impact on the way it performs. Yes. I don't want to I just want to be mild using that word can. It has, not just can. It has a major impact. It has a major impact. It has a major impact in the way each is what is being organized. Big time. Big time. So your structure is equivalent to your performance. Let me use that word. Your structure is equal to your performance. Yes. Like this thing those days in mathematics, I think in secondary school, greater or less than. Good. If you can remember very well. So your structure, the way your company is structured, is equal to or greater than or less than your performance. Let me just use it. So just know that your performance is attached to your structure. Big time, big time. This has nothing to do with big company. It has nothing to do with small company. As long as you're running a company that you have 1, 2, 3 persons working with you, your structure has a whole lot to do with your performance. Mark it for me. Take it from me. So that makes you to be more attentive to structures. Yes, you started a company as you as alone. But remember, in our classes, there is nothing like one-man company. Yes, one-man company does not exist. Yes, you may be the only person in the company physically seen, but you as a person automatically has 5 departments. That's a minimum of 5 departments that you're running in that company. A minimum of 5 departments. That means that the structure already from day one. Yes, from day one of that organization, there's a structure, known or unknown to you. And that structure has a minimum of 5 departments immediately. Yes, immediately. That you don't understand, that you don't have that knowledge does not mean that it does not exist. It exists. Now, the challenge is now, because you don't know that that thing exists in your company, it now affects your performance. It has impact on your performance. So have it at the canvas of your mind. Taking it from there, see, there are several models of corporate structure typically used in the business world, and they continue to evolve. I've laid emphasis on this already. Now, even more so now as businesses embrace remote working. Yeah, you know what is remote working? You know what is remote working? Businesses embrace remote working, and there are more and more and more coming up. That's why I said today may be a day for it. I mean, we are treating only 5. By tomorrow or next tomorrow, another model can come up, another thing can come up, and without change the structures. So think about it. Now, the first consideration is whether power should be centralized at the top, with the decision making in the hands of a few key senior employees, or decentralized with more power in the hands of a staff. Now, having done this, I'm now shifting to a more structured environment. I started with you as a person. You are the one that started the company, and I said there's nothing like one-man company. That from the day one that business started, irrespective of what you're doing in that business, whether you're doing trading, whether you're that's what I mean trading, buying and selling, whatever you're doing, whether you're frying akara, whether you're just cooking food by the corner of the street, whether you have a rented apartment, as long as you have into business, you're a freelancer. You're a freelancer. You're just on your own. You're still a student, but you have you have 1 or 2 things. Some people call it hustle and all that. Whatever you are doing, is already a structure. Now, when you now move to more structured environments where you start having, the MD, the departments start having staff, a number of good staff working with you. That's where we now start looking at power concentration, power concentration at the top, or or being decentralized. That's centralized and decentralized power system. That's another level of structure. So we're going to look into that now, and in a nutshell, and then we'll take it up. Now, choosing a structure, very, very important. So the power decentralization or power concentration affects the choice of structure we are going to choose. So a company structure changes as it grows. That's a simple reality. Yes, like I said this earlier, a company structure changes as it grows. Now, more complex structures will either evolve or be designed as a firm moves forward. I've explained all this already. Now, depending on the nature and the size of the business, the complexity of the network, any requirement for instant expertise, yes, and the geographical location of parts of the business. Please underline all this I just mentioned. There are points, there are things that will make companies, and more, not just this one, there are more that will make company. And I said number one, the decentralization, the centralization of power. I moved it on to the evolving nature of, trends and rest of them. Down the company as it's moved forward, the nature and the size of the business they do determine the nature of structure they adopt or, move into. Now, the complexity of the network, yes, involved in the organization, very, very important. Now, uh, any instant requirement for expertise, yes, there are companies that require expertise. That expertise is very, very, it has a way of hitting the structure of the organization because you have to accommodate them. Very, very important. Then the geographical location of part of the business, yes, the location adopted by the business also has effect on the business. These are very, 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 very crucial and critical parts. And as much as you can also remember, please, if there are other factors you need to think you remember that can affect the change or the growth or the change in structure, please let us know. All right. Remember, I mentioned earlier centralized and non-centralized. Now, power under centralized, power rests in the hands of a few people, those at the top, with a long chain of command. Yes. In our doctorate class, we have a course we call chain of command. We treat this deeply, 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 deeply. Now, power at the top, yeah, these are the, one of the characteristics. There's power. There's always power at the top. Yes, there's always power at the top. Then, and they are rigid. How do you mean by they are rigid? You can imagine where you have like a 1,000 staff, 5,000 staff, 10,000 staff, 100,000 staff, and the power is centralized at the top. Before you pass information up, now get the powers, get the authorization, and bring it down. Things, time has gone, and they tend to take time before they make that decision because they are not they do their respective findings. So that's what brings in rigidity and all that, bottlenecks and all that. Then conventional, yes, very, very conventional, very, very they tend to do things across board, blanket approach. Now, inflexible, they're not flexible, they're not flexible. Slow response to changes, yes, very, very slow response to changes is also seen in this environment. All right, so taking it further, we have a number of approach when it comes to structure. We have the functional, divisional, matrix. Yes, I'm just giving you a bit of it. So before we now go into it, it's more of an introduction. What happens when it's functional? Functional simplicity, good for strict control and formal relationship, as it's in the military. Yes, CEO coordinates everything. Yes, and this is where power centralization works. Yes, looking at what we have here, decentralized. They adopt this functional very, 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 very well. Then under divisional, suit companies with many global offices or product lines. Yes, CEO coordinates, and each division is responsible for engineering for generating profit. Yes. Then matrix discusses about good for large corporation with complex projects in different locations. That's for matrix for you. Now, divisional and functional managers coordinate. So matrix is a combination of functional and divisional. Have these foundations at the back of your mind. Just laying the foundations. Have it at the back of your mind. We'll go into companies that operate in all these aspects. We'll go into companies that operate in that aspect. Now, 78% of groups reach solutions to simple tasks faster in centralized structures. I want us to look at, remember I told us about what happened in centralized structures. While 100% of groups reach solutions to complex tasks faster in decentralized structure. Let's break it down. How does that mean? It simply means that when it comes to decentralized structure, that decisions are faster. Decisions are faster. Decisions are faster. They, in the sense that it gives solutions faster because the things are decentralized, powers are discussed and shared. Powers are discussed and shared in units, in subunits, unlike waiting for the big boss to make the final decision. No, no, no. So this is exactly the current data that we have on this. Now, warning: when change is needed. Now, when change is needed, you know what's happened. You know what happened because the one that is faster takes over. And there's a typical example. There are so many examples around you, but we know the one that we use as more of an example is what happened to Nokia. When there was need for change, Nokia did not listen because Nokia was practicing which one? Centralized structure, centralized power structure. And that was exactly what happened to them. It's very, very important. Very, very important. Now, one nation that operates as a company, which I respect so much, is China. As long as I'm concerned, China is not a nation. You understand? Yes, China is not a nation. For me, China is a corporation, a giant, one giant corporation. But that's how the nations should operate. Yes, because everybody is in business. Now, China operates as a corporation, a full corporation, and they use both centralized and decentralized in their approach. They adopt the two. Okay, let's move forward. When change is needed, signs that a structure is not working include low morale and high staff turnover. Now, no new products being developed, and profit suddenly accelerating or decelerating. Tools to amend post structure include business process reengineering. Yeah, BPR. Business that this course, business process engineering, is one deep course. Yes, is one deep course. It's very, very deep. So let's take it from there. Maybe some other time we can look into it as in the future. Now, it's analyzing and redesigning the workflow within a company. Yes. Number two, or altering the reporting line. Yes, altering the reporting line in a traditional or solid line reporting. Yes, reporting relationship. One line manager oversees goals and the performance. Now, it can be beneficial to switch to the weaker chain of data line reporting relationship in which a manager gets some of both, not all the objectives. Yes. So these are the two major things that will help you to grow and make it faster when it comes to ability to make things a faster decision. Then under this decentralized, power is spread through the company and staff make their own decisions. Yes. Now power is shared, is organic. Running by organic, everything comes from the inside. Then experimental, yes, it has a way of allowing people to bring in their thoughts. Flexible, very, very flexible. Fast response to change. Just opposite of the other one. Yeah. It accommodates network and the team. Yes. It accommodates network and the team. Then suit creative and the technology companies in which everyone is online. Now, core company collaboration with virtual community. Now, on that team, for companies that rely on innovation and are customer focused, automatically staff self coordinated. Good. So these are like a touch, I've done I've done like a general overview of what corporate structure is all about. So let's delve into it one after the other. Let's go into it. I told us there are 5 of them. So starting with functional structure. Functional structure. Functional structure. Now, any questions so far, please? Let me break this. Any questions so far, please? Any question? Any question? Any question? Do you have any question, please? Any question? Any question? Any question? All right, let's move on. In the midst of no question, let's move on. Number one, functional structure. Functional structure. Now, the classic way to recognize a company, the classic way to organize a company is by dividing it into departments that reflect the main functions of the basic or the business, each headed by a director or manager. Yes, remember, underline the word classic. That is what we know. That's what is fundamental. That's what is obtainable. So, and remember, the word classic means that this is what most people are doing, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. There's nothing wrong with it. However, over time, when you don't understand that this one has limitations, or when your business starts evolving over and over and over and over, and you refuse to adjust the structure, it has its own negativity on the business, like when we started it. So don't allow the impact of function, don't allow the impact of structure, functional structure, to be the one that will stop the growth of your business. No, no, no. That's the essence of this conclave. When you understand how these five structures work, at any point in time, you know the one to bring in and how to merge it. And if the five of them does not give you what you want, you are at liberty to develop your own model. See, let me tell us the truth. All these things we are studying are models developed by people. They didn't come, they didn't just drop from heaven and hit the ground and say, here am I am a functional structure, use me. No. It's people like you and I that look at their business and say, what will work for us? And they develop models that is working for them, and it's working for them as we speak. For us at Learn to Lead Business School, we have a model that is working for us, that is not open to people, that is not in any of the models that we've ever taught. Yes, we have a model that is working for us, and we fine-tuning the model on regular basis. That's it. So that A is doing this and B is doing this and C is doing that, working for them, does not mean that you must do it and that you must do it. No, find out what works for you and develop and use it. That's just reality. That because it's not taught in Harvard does not mean that Harvard have a solution to all of them. It's not true. That the one taught in Harvard, it was someone that sat down and developed and they started working. You need to go back to history. Just go back to history. Most of the things you celebrate today, most of the things you call wonderful knowledge, powerful knowledge, and rest of them, we are things that challenges that people were facing in their businesses, in their locality, their community. And they have to sit down and think and come up with solutions. And before you know it became a global solution. And everybody now saying, in this and that, and that and that, we're using it. And they will quote one person, and they will quote one person, and they said, this person is a professor. Professor from where? It was a local solution from somewhere that somebody adopted. So don't keep yourself in at one point at all. Why am I taking so much time to discuss about this? That almost 90% of businesses, if not 99% of businesses, are they're doing functional structure. Everybody functional. As if there's no other structure again. As beautiful as functional is, as classic as it is, it's not the only way. So think of it. Even when we are done with these five structures we are going to give to you, please, you can decide to develop your own model. Very, very important. Who knows whether it will be the savior in the next 10 years. Think about it from that angle. Please. How it works. The chain of command is straightforward. The business typically consists of a chief executive officer or president at the top, with the various specialist departments, yes, or divisions, such as marketing and finance, aligned below. Now, each department operates as an independent unit with its own budget, reporting directly to the CEO, who takes responsibility for the operation of all the departments. A functional structure is the most common type of organization. I've laid emphasis on this already. All right. A typical departmental hierarchy. The department operates independently, with the managers reporting to the CEO or president, who has overall command. The sales and marketing department, and just using just one department example, usually takes responsibility for managing product lines. This is just a typical example. The CEO, in charge of everything. Like just that does it. That does it. Now, it says, warning, silo mentality describes dangers of silo mentality. Silo mentality describes a scenario in which each department has a different close view of its role within the overall scheme, and the information does not get shared. Yes, that is one powerful disadvantage of a functional, where we are in sales department, we are in finance department, we are in customer service, we are in operations, we are in human resources, and they don't get to share knowledge. Everybody wants to report to the MD. Everybody wants to shine, shine during board meeting. Everyone wants to shine during top management meeting. No, 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 no. Think of it. Now, deciding what to sell, and all that, and all that. You can imagine in a place where they are not connected. Marketing is on its own, human resources is on its own, research is on its own. How would I decide what to sell? So the marketing department is closer to the market, and is bigger, and is best to analyze which product line may do well. Now, the sales and the marketing manager can suggest what new products the company could make, and all, and all, and all, and all. It's quite large. It's quite bigger than this. In our doctorate class, that's where you look at all these things being with examples and enough case studies. Now, functional pros and the cons. Yes, pros. Now, allow for the department of specialization and expertise. Yes, enables efficient use of resources and potential economies of scale. Offers obvious career path for employees in each department. Now, simple, efficient structure for manufacturers producing a limited range of goods uh, for sale. The pros and cons: former lines of communication, you know, stifles innovation and the creativity. Department fail to coordinate with one another efficiently. Response time on problem and queries between different departments slow. Now, many very division have offered many decisions referred up to the top, create a backlog. Yes, it makes this not to happen as fast as possible. Need to know line relationship, chain of command down the structure, reporting structure, who reports to whom, silo, pejorative term for a department that works in isolation, a vertical closed structure like a grain silo. All right, look at this. I've given us an example of this already, so let's just move on. Let's just move on. Now, number two, divisional structure. I love this. I love this. I love this one. I love that. I love the functional. Most companies start from the functional, then they now move to the divisional structure. Now, some companies arrange their staff into divisions devoted to a specific product and market. Now, each division is a self-sufficient team employing the personnel for the various functions within it. Remember, in as I said, I love this. It also has its own disadvantage. Each of them has their advantage and their disadvantage. And we've seen what functional looks like. So let's continue on the vision, how it works under the overall control of a CEO or president. Now, several divisions work alongside and one another to design, research, produce, and sell a particular product or to serve a specific market. Now, each division runs its own specialized function, such as operations or sales, although some such as finance may remain centralized to save on a cost. Yes, that's one disadvantage of a division. Now, a company may arrange its divisions according to the type of product it makes, the regions in which it operates, or the customer to whom it sells. Now, large companies may adapt hybrid structure by product and by hybrid by product and the geography. For example, division pros and the cons. If one division fails, there is no threat to the rest of the business. Yes, that's reality. Can respond quickly to changes in the market. Yes, focuses on customer needs. Yes, performance of each division clearly measure measurable. So that's the good part of it. The other part, duplicating resources. For example, each division employing financial personnel. They are duplicating what? Resources. Lack of expertise sharing between divisions. Yes, yes, yes. When they work like that, it affects their expertise sharing knowledge and all that. Now, because they're like everybody, you're on your own, grow. um, career path for success restricted. Yes, it happens because when I'm in one division, I may not be able to go to the other division, and that limits me. I'll just be in one division doing a particular thing over and over and over again. Then the next one say heightened sense of competition among division. It happens a whole lot. 6.9 billion USD in net revenue generated by PepsiCo Latin America in 2020. Do you understand? Is a division knowing Pepsi. So PepsiCo Latin America is a division on its own. So there's a high level of competition in it. Okay, types of divisional structure. Division by geography. Yes, division by geography. Now, for businesses with products that need to be adapted to local markets, yes, an organization can be structured according to each of the regional markets it serves. This may be domestic or international. Or international. Now, Food and Drink Corporation (Pepsi) broadly follows this structure with 7 divisions, 5 regions. We know Pepsi. We know Pepsi very well. So you can imagine Pepsi. This is what the own structure. So think about it. That your business. Don't just remain in functional. If as big as Pepsi can move to this point, your own can also move to this point. Now we have North America, 3 division, Pepsi beverage, uh, Frito-Lay, and Quaker food. Then Latin America, Miami headquarter, and rest of it. So second division by product. Business selling different types of products may pick a structure by which each division handles one category. Now, Samsung Electronics, part of South Korea's largest Samsung group, is organized by product division. Can you imagine that? Yes. Consumer electronics, TV, appliances, medical equipment, IT and mobile communication, phones, tablets, PCs, networking, device solution, chips, processors, etc. Under one company, they run by products. Division by customer type. Yes. Business with distinct customer market may be organized by customer division. Yes. For example, the financial institution Bank of Africa, Merrill, 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 Merrill Lynch cater to individuals. Yes. Small businesses and corporate and institutional client. Just think about it. So under here we have, you see, you have the consumer, typically the original market, then have the business product adopted or favorable price, then institutional large scale product provision for the single client, just by customers. So I believe we are having better understanding on this. All right, before I will go into the case study. Sorry. All right. So before I go into the case study, please, I would like you to write down. I would like a summary of what we've done so far. A summary of what we've done so far. That's one approach I want us to start adopting. So somebody will give us what we've done so far as a summary. Please get to know that. All right. Case study. PepsiCo is our case study. Now, I've already given you a hint on that. So PepsiCo is our case study. I've already given us a hint on using PepsiCo as our case study. So let's dive into it. All our time is fast spent. Okay, PepsiCo. PepsiCo Food and Beverage Company, global operations have undergone various transformation over the decades as it is, as acquired new brands and they expanded around the world. Today, it comprises 7 divisions in a hybrid structure, arranged by product and geography. Yes, 3 divisions in North America. Yeah, the division are in North America. PepsiCo beverages, North America. That's drinks. That one focus on drinks. Frito-Lay, North America, snacks, and Quaker Food, North America, cereals and snacks, while the remaining look after both food and drinks products in 4 global regions. Now, this allows those making the decisions about popular local brand. Yes, good, very, very important. Gives them room to decisions about, to know how to compete with local brands, including workers in the US, in the United Kingdom, and pioneer food in South Africa to be close to the customer who buy them. Yes, they gave them room to flow. So these are divisions. Good. So we're stopping here, and I want to know what you've learned. I want to have a summary of what we've done and how you want to apply it. The conclave is open. Let's discuss on it. I know you've gotten a whole lot today alone. So let's discuss. Please, let's make it fast. What have you learned? What are your learnings? What are your learnings? What are the things that you say, I've never heard of this before. I'm hearing it for the first time, and I can apply this to my company. Okay, Simon, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. You're welcome, sir. Good to hear from you, sir.
I think from the different type of structures we had is the aspect of being able to model your own structure that suits you. Unlike the aspect of that where we just stay on structure that we are given and build our emphasis on it. Because I found that so many times when we are doing certain structure, there are things we need to put in. There are things we are facing practically. That is not, that depends also, especially when you are starting,
Unique, yeah.
which have to affect both relationship of people, the type of program, and the changing topography we find ourselves in the business field, so which is more relative to us than what we have learned.
Yes.
Yes, we can apply what we have learned, but we'll find out that relativity is very more variable, more variational than ever. So this creativity just opened my mind that, look, why don't you do this in everything? Because I've noticed that most of the time there are many things that I want to do, but I found that it's not related to what people say. And I be sitting down and say, this is not what I learned. But in fact, I have to put this in because this is so it opened my mind and my understanding that, look, you can put those in. That means creativity is unending and it can be evolved anytime you are doing any structure. I think that's what that struck to me so much, apart from all the structural setting. And the second thing that we're able to apply two structures together. That is where you have the functional and divisional being put together. So it shows that there's no rigidity in whatever we do. We can apply things together or three together. I think that will struck me because the creativity is continuity.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Fat, I just love this. I just love this. I just love this. This is exactly why people don't succeed. Because this is how Efanya have been doing it. This is how Yinka have been doing it. This is how Mr. Lengs have been doing it. This is how this is how it's done in America, how it's done in UK, how it's done in. You now forget that each environment is unique. That is one. For environment is even too much. Human being. No human being has the same thumbprint. We are about 8 billion now. We are hitting 8 billion in population. None of us had the same thumbprint. Now, you now want to do the same thing. All these things are guidelines. All these things that we are written down, you're looking at, are people that have done it and is working for them. Somebody now sat down and wrote as a note and wrote it and said as knowledge. Okay, please, this is the way it's done. Forgetting that there are conditions that led to that one, and they will not tell you all those things. Please, I love this. I love this. Know what works for you. The essence of this is for you to know that this is what is obtainable. This is what is on ground. However, knowing all this, is there anywhere I can tweak my own a little? Is there any way I can add this and remove this so that it can work for me? And once you get that, that does it. That does it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for that insight. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Beautiful.